Aloha and welcome back, college football fans and Hawkeye fans alike, to another episode here on the Touchdown Black and Gold vlog, the channel where we cover all things college football across the entire college football landscape. I'm your usual host, Blair Parks, and as promised, if you tuned into last week's episode, what I've got on tap for you today, I will unveil to you officially after months of research, self-reflection, looking inward, and meditation. I will unveil to you, my fellow college football brothers and sisters, my projected 12-team college football playoff field for the 26 into the 27 college football season, which here we are is just over 3 weeks away from the Labor Day holiday weekend. I mean, it's the best time of the year. I mean, this is like Christmas, New Year's, 4th of July, Easter, everything for us college football fans. And before I move into my projected college football playoff field, I like to always, once again, as I do, say thank you for everything that you have done for the channel or anything that you can do from here out to help the channel grow, because I want to find more college football fans just like you. This is the channel created by the college football fan for the college football fan. And as I said, I want to find more fans just like you. So please get involved. I always welcome and ask for your participation and your comments. So please light up that comment section below in response to any of my opinions, hot takes, or facts that I present today, and I promise that I will get back to each and every one of you much sooner than later via those comments. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it, and please once again like, share, rate, and subscribe so you can get notifications of when the next episode here on the Touchdown Black and Gold vlog is posted for your viewing and listening pleasure. All right, so as I said, this is probably one of my favorite episodes that I do year in and year out. Here, this is the 5th season for me here on the Touchdown Black and Gold vlog. I can't believe that this is season 5, but some of this is going to make total sense to most of you. I think a lot of you overall will highly agree with my 12-team college football playoff field, but I do believe that there will be a little bit of chaos, kind of what the Joker said there in Heath Ledger, introduce a little bit of chaos, because I want to get the chat going. I want to hear from you. I want to get that conversation rolling. I want good banter, because I think that some things that I project are a little bit maybe risque, so to speak, but this is just what I believe is going to play out. And if you must know, in years past, in seasons past, overall, I've done a pretty fair job at projecting both the 4-team and the 12-team playoff field before it officially became published. All right, so let's go ahead and get into it if we should, but I'm going to go ahead and start off with this. Hang on, hold on to your seat, and as Samuel L. Jackson's character said in Jurassic Park,
hold on to your butts.
That's right. So let's go ahead and do that exactly. All right, so my top 4 seeds, as far as the top 4 who will get that first round bye, these are something that a lot of so-called experts and pundits, media types, academics, writers, that these are 4 teams that I know a lot of people have been mentioning, but maybe not in this order. But let's go ahead and get started with my top 4. So my number 1 overall seed for this year's college football playoff will be the SEC champion, and I project that to be the Georgia Bulldogs. I think they will defeat Oklahoma. That's right. I think Oklahoma will make a run to the SEC title game. I think Georgia will win aforementioned title game, and I think they will cling that number 1 overall seed. All right. Number 2, the second seed, I'm going to roll with independent, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. And I'm going to say this about Notre Dame. I think this is an excellent team. I know they really only have a 3-game schedule, BYU, Miami, and SMU. But that being said, all you can do is play the teams that are on your schedule. And these schedules are made years, sometimes even decades in advance. But Notre Dame will be here because I project and forecast that Notre Dame will be the only Division I football team to run the table. I think they will go 12-0. I mean, they do not have a conference title game, but I think heading into the college football playoff, every team except for Notre Dame will have at least one loss. All right, so I do have Notre Dame in the 2 spot. Number 3, my Big Ten champion, I've got the Oregon Ducks. I think they will defeat Ohio State in Indianapolis, and I think they get a little bit of payback. I think earlier in the season, Oregon visits Columbus. I think Ohio State will take care of Oregon in that matchup, but Oregon will have revenge, which is better served cold in the Big Ten title game, and they will be my number 3 seed overall. And now my final team who will get the first round bye. Number 4, the ACC champion. I project that to be the Miami Hurricanes. I think they will defeat Louisville in this year's ACC title game. And it's really hard to know who is really going to challenge Miami in the ACC. I think SMU will be a very solid team with quarterback Jennings, who's done nothing but win games since he took over as the starting QB for the Mustangs. I think Clemson, even though they're not as talented as teams the last couple of years, I think they'll have a very good bounce back season there for Clemson and Coach Dabo Swinney. But I do think Louisville has the best route and the best pathway to the ACC title game because it really comes down to who they don't play. I mean, they don't play Miami in their regular season or Clemson or Virginia Tech, who I think will be much better as well under first-year coach James Franklin, but they do host SMU. All right, so I do think Miami and Louisville meet up, but the Canes get the victory and they secure the final bye, number 4 seed Miami. All right, so before I go ahead and unveil my number 5 through 12, please comment below. Let me know what you think about my top 4 and potentially those matchups that I see in the Big Ten, SEC, and ACC title games. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to my at-larges. Other than one of those seeds has to go to the highest-ranked conference champion among the group of 6, and I'll get to that here in a little bit. So my very first at-large team, and 5 and 6 were very, very close, but you know how I roll. If you've watched me in the past, head-to-head matters. It has to. And number 5, I've got from the SEC, I've got the Texas Longhorns in the 5 spot, because right behind them, number 6, I do have the Big Ten runner-up. I have the Ohio State University in the 6 hole. And I think these two could potentially be swapped out. But early in the season, week 2, kind of the rematch from last year's opening week, Ohio State travels south to take on the Horns in Austin. I mean, if you're a college football fan, this is not news to you. You know of this gargantuan matchup, but I do think this year Texas does get a little bit of payback. I think they will beat Ohio State in week 2 in Austin. So I've got Texas number 5 and Ohio State number 6. All right, so let's move into my number 7 seed. This is where you're going to find my projected Big 12 champion. And there's been a lot of drama. All right, Llama Drama, right? Those children's books that some of you have younger children, you know exactly what I'm referring to. There's been a lot of drama within the Big 12 because of the QB Sorsby and what's been going down and what happened down there in Lubbock at Texas Tech. So I think that's going to open up the Big 12. Texas Tech still has a ton of talent on that squad. They are a legitimate college football playoff contender, but I just think that they're going to be cursed. I think they're going to be a jinxed team. I do believe that the college football gods above will curse their season. I think things will happen. I think the ball just won't bounce their way. So who I've got winning the Big 12, I project that BYU will come out on top of the Big 12 this year. And I believe that they will meet up with Utah, their in-state hated rival in the, what do they call it? The Holy War. I mean, one of the best rivalry games year in and year out. I'm so happy that these two teams are doing this on the yearly again. So, yeah, I think that'll be the second time that they meet up during the season. I think BYU will get it done against Utah. I mean, I love the quarterback matchup between Bachmeier, and if you haven't seen Utah's quarterback, Dampier, I mean, the guy's instant offense. He can hurt you with his legs and his arm. Yes, I know that Coach Whittingham moved on, but I don't think Utah is going to really suffer much during the transition to a new coach, but it was a in-house hire, so very little transition from a new culture, a new identity. It's going to be the same team, so I do expect Utah to hang around. So number 7, I do have BYU coming out of the Big 12. Number 8, a team I did mention earlier, I am bullish on the Oklahoma Sooners this year. I think they might have overall one of the best defenses in all of college football. They will be stout along the offensive line, and I think John Mateer will be one of the better quarterbacks. I mean, last year we saw a little bit of a sample size of what he could become until he had that hand injury, which he missed, a game or two, but he was never the same after that. And I think 1 year under his belt, transferring in from Washington State, second year now in Power 4 conference football in the SEC, I do expect him to take the next step. And I really like this Oklahoma team. And I cannot wait for Week 2's matchup when Oklahoma travels to the Big House to take on the Michigan Wolverines. So I do like Oklahoma, number 8. Number 9, a team that, I get it. They're still Indiana, okay? But people continue to still disrespect Indiana and what Coach Kurt Cignetti has brewing there in Bloomington. I do think they will take a step back this season, but they're not going to go from 16-0, possibly, quite arguably, one of the best teams ever in the history of college football. I mean, at least they're the best story ever in college football history, going from the worst program in Division I football history with the most losses to a undefeated national championship. I mean, it's like Hollywood scripted, okay? But I think Indiana is still going to have it where it counts. They bring back a ton of production. Yes, they lose Heisman Trophy winner Fernando Mendoza, but still, bringing in Josh Hoover from TCU, potentially just a slight downgrade. But Coach Cignetti, he knows how to coach. He's got that power. He's got Eric Clapton from Tommy. He gives eyesight to the blind. I think he just is that good of a coach. So they're not going to be a top 4 seed, but I do like Indiana to get back into the college football playoff for the 3rd season in a row. They're in the 9 hole. All right, moving on, number 10. Now, this is where things are going to get a little surprising for some of you. Some of you are going to be maybe scratching your heads initially, right? Some of you might be up in arms, but some of you might be giving me a good old-fashioned standing ovation. But this is just how I see playing out. So please bear with me until the very end. And here we go. Yep. Thank you, Samuel L. Let's hold on to our butts. All right. So here we go. the 10 seed for my projected CFP field, I've got the Utah Utes. I mean, I think Utah is going to be that good. I mean, now that Texas Tech is going to take a step back or two, at least what I believe, it comes down to who is going to challenge BYU, and Utah is that team. All right? I think Utah will have one regular season loss. I think they will go 11-1. I think they will defeat BYU in their regular season matchup. That game is in Salt Lake City inside Bryce Eccles, which we all know that's a huge home field advantage for the Utes. That place is off the hook. I think they beat BYU in the regular season, but the very next week, this is where I project Utah is going to pick up their only loss in the regular season. They have to turn around from the highest of highs and go on the road to the desert and take on the Arizona Wildcats. I think they're going to be a potential sleeper in the Big 12. I think Houston will be pretty solid as well, but Utah just has the better path. They don't play Texas Tech. They host Houston in Salt Lake. BYU's going there. So I think Utah going 11-1. But yes, like I said, they're going to lose in the Big 12 title game to BYU. But I think a team that goes 11-1, they have to be in the college football playoff. I mean, last year that happened to BYU. If you recall, they only lost 2 games last year, regular season and the Big 12 title game to Texas Tech, and were left out of the show, all right? Because if you're 11-1 in the regular season, regardless of your schedule, if that's an 11-1 Big 10 or SEC team, even if they play the scrubs, the lower half of the conference, and yes, I'm sorry, Big 10, and especially SEC fans, there's some bad teams in our conferences, okay? There just is. So, but if a team in those two, the Big 2, if a team goes 11-1 in the Big 10 or the SEC, they're going to be in the college football playoff. They just are. So do that across the board, all right? So I do think Utah will get in, but the very next week they will lose at Arizona, which Admiral Akbar, what is that going to be?
It's a trap.
Beautiful. Admiral Akbar is already in mid-season form, and the year hasn't even kicked off yet, all right? So I do have Utah coming in as my number 10 seed, all right? So number 11, another thing that this is my ultimate upset special this season. I think a lot of people could understand why I like Utah. I mean, they have a great backfield and Dampier and their running back returns and their physical, you know that. Kyle Whittingham left the blueprint there for the Utes as far as what is success, all right, in the Big 12 and in the Pac-12 before they moved when the old Pac-12 resolved. But this is where it gets really, really hairy, all right? And I think my team going into the season that is the most under, the team that's coming in most under the radar. I shared with you who I believe the most overrated team is, and that's Ole Miss coming into the season. The most underrated team is the Penn State Nittany Lions, or I could call them the Penn State Cyclones, because now Matt Campbell from Iowa State takes over as the head man at Happy Valley for Penn State. He brings, 25 former Iowa State players with him, primarily his best players. So that's why you can call them the Penn State Cyclones. But Matt Campbell is a great coach. He had uber success at Iowa State with big-time downgraded facilities, athletes, a recruiting footprint. What he did at Iowa State at Ames is only going to improve at Penn State. And I do believe this team goes 10-2. I think they have a very, very easier schedule, all right? So I'm not going to count that out. That's a big part, a big reason why I think they will find themselves in the CFP this season. They really have 3 tough games. They have USC at home, which I believe is a must-win game for them. Most likely it's going to be the whiteout game at night between the Trojans and the Nittany Lions, and they're on the road at Michigan and at Washington. difficult, challenging games, but potentially winnable. And if I think they win 2 of those 3 games, they are absolutely in. They're a shoo-in. But I think even if they go 10-2 and they beat USC, lose to Washington and Michigan, don't take another loss, I think they will see their name on the screen and called on Selection Sunday. This is my big upset, my sleeper this year. Give me Penn State in the 11 seed, making the college football playoff field in Coach Matt Campbell's first season with the Nittany Lions. All right? So let me know what you think about some of these hot takes so far. I mean, I know that's going to have a lot of people up talking and chit-chatting about liking Penn State, but I'm that much of a believer in Matt Campbell. All right? And I said from day one, when they fired James Franklin mid-season last year, there was only 2 cats that they should have been all in on. Marcus Freeman from Notre Dame and Matt Campbell from Iowa State. I mean, they tried to bring in Matt Rule, who the biggest winner of that firing is Matt Rule with the extension he got from his agent. I mean, Nebraska making a really kind of knucklehead move. I mean, he's the overall winner is Matt Rule and the Rule family and his bank account, cha-ching, from that happening. But Matt Campbell, great hire for Penn State. All right, so I got the Nittany Lions at the 11 spot. So finally, number 12, here it comes, my group of 6 representative. And I know what most people are saying. You're hearing Boise State, which they're going to be a really good team. Most people are saying Boise State, UNLV, another solid team. And they do play a couple of Power 4 conference teams this year. Navy's another very popular pick. They have an easy schedule except for Notre Dame. But I've got none of those 3. I'm going off the cuff here. And I'm telling you, one thing that I've learned as an Iowa fan, all right, and being a fan of the Big Ten ever since I was 8 years old, here I am 45 years old right now, that you don't sleep on the MAC. The Mid-American Conference plays solid football, and their best team projected to win this year's MAC title is the Western Michigan Broncos, and I have them winning the MAC and representing the group of 6 in this year's college football playoff in that 12 seed. And here's why, all right? The next best team, the team that's picked to finish second in the MAC, comes to Western Michigan this year. That's Miami of Ohio. So the best MAC team does play, that's hosted by the Broncos. But here's the reason why. All right, their schedule, Western Michigan could go 11-1 in the regular season, and then obviously they're going to have to win the MAC title game. Even if they go 11-1, and let's say they lose to Miami of Ohio or Toledo or somebody else, they get upset, they probably will not, actually not probably, they will not make the college football playoff. Somebody else will from the group of 6, but their opening game, they play at the Big House against Michigan, and Michigan better watch out for this team. Western Michigan won 10 games last year, also won the MAC title last year. Their quarterback is back. Their running back is back. I mean, they know how to win games, okay? And Michigan having a new coach, kind of that transition right now. And right now, there is a lot of uncertainty, a lot of concern for Michigan, especially with their schedule. I absolutely expect Western Michigan to give them at least a half, all right? So if they lose that game up at the Big House in Ann Arbor, fine. But if they run the table, win the MAC title, I've got Western Michigan. And plus, this is one of the biggest matchups of the season. And that's not just in the group of 6, but when you look at college football in general, as far as the non-conference games, we know some of the big ones between the Power 4. As I mentioned, Ohio State at Texas, Oklahoma at Michigan, right? Clemson at LSU is a big one. We've got some big non-con games. But one of the biggest in college football, Boise State, which is the majority of people are picking Boise State to make this year's college football playoff field. They actually travel to Western Michigan, I believe, in week 3. So that'll be a huge win for Western Michigan when they knock off the other Broncos. May the best Broncos win in that matchup, right? I think that'll be a huge tool in their bag and a huge loop on their belt for the Broncos of Western Michigan. And that's why I think they will be representing the group of 6 because of that victory over the other Broncos from the Smurf turf of Boise State. All right, so that's it. I've unveiled to you my official college football field, the projection, my forecasted number 1, Georgia, number 2, Notre Dame, number 3, Oregon, number 4, Miami. Those 4 teams will get the first round bye. Number 5, Texas. Number 6 is Ohio State. Number 7, BYU. Number 8, Oklahoma. Number 9, Indiana. Number 10, Utah. Number 11, Penn State, and number 12, Western Michigan. Well, that's my episode for today here on the Touchdown Black and Gold vlog. Please, thank you for your time, your attention, your support. Please exercise your college football right. I want to hear your voice. Comment below, blow it up. I can't wait to hear from you and get back to you. Remember, you don't have to be a Hawkeye fan to enjoy the Touchdown Black and Gold vlog. This is a gathering spot, a safe haven for all fans and fan bases and fandoms of college football. So please get involved, comment below, let's start that conversation, get the banter going, and I can't wait to get back to you. So next week, what I've got on tap, now that I've given you my forecasted college football playoff field, I'm going to go ahead and break down those first round matchups, then move into the quarterfinals, semifinals, and then the national championship game. And I will break down who I project is going to win those matchups. And I will unveil to you who I believe will be hoisting this year's natty at the end of the season and will go down in the annals of college football history. So you definitely don't want to miss that one next week. Probably going to be out either Tuesday or Wednesday. So until then, please like, share, rate, subscribe, comment below. Enjoy the rest of your week, your weekend. Be safe, be responsible. So until next time, take care from the Touchdown Black and Gold vlog. And as always, go Hawks. See you soon. Bye-bye.